All right, we're going to move on to the operator called typeOf. So remember, instance of allows you to check prototypes. TypeOf allows you to check primitive type of the object, like is it a string, is it a number, is it an object, and so on. On the left, we see that it's a unary operator. That means it only takes in one argument, and then it returns the type of that argument. And there are some exceptions to this rule, which we will also look at. So let's look at it in action. TypeOf, empty string, we get string. TypeOf, object notation, we get object. Let's define our constructor function once again. Function, person. All right, let's do typeOf person. Function. Okay, now technically function is not a primitive type. It's technically an object, but typeOf will also return functions if you are checking functions or constructor functions. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, let's move on to some of the exceptions of typeOf. All right, if you look on the left, I listed some caveats or exceptions for when we are using the typeOf operator. The first one says, if we do typeOf null, we get object. Is that true? Yes. Now, it should have given us null right here, right? Because null is a primitive JavaScript type. Also, if we do typeOf undefined, we get the string undefined returned. So this should also be null, but it's not. So why is that? This has been like this since JavaScript was invented. And we all know that it's a mistake. Everyone knows that. But they are not going to fix it. Why? Because a lot of websites and apps are dependent on this null triple equals object to function properly. So I guess it's here to stay. Second one, typeOf non or NaN gives you number. Wow, that's a little bit confusing, right? What happens if we actually want to check if something is NaN? What we can do is that we can use the window method called isNaN. And since it's on the window object, we actually don't need the word window. Let's try string x. It returns true. So what is isNaN actually doing? One misconception is that isNaN is checking if something is a number or not. But that's not true. Let's take a look. If we do isNaN, string 3, we get false. So what isNaN is doing is it's checking its argument, let's say string x. It's checking to see if that argument can be coerced or converted into a real number. So it's basically doing number and then putting in x. Now we see that it results in NaN. So this is telling us that, hey, I cannot convert x into a real number. And if JavaScript cannot convert that into a real number, isNaN returns true. Else, if it can convert it to a number, isNaN will return false. As we can see here, isNaN string 3 returns false. That's because if you do number string 3, you actually get the 3. It is convertible to a number, so it will return false. Same thing, if we do isNaN on a real number, it also returns false because this can be converted to 3, right? Now, furthermore, if we do isNaN an empty string, we also get false. But this isn't really a number like string 3, so why is it returning false? Because when you do number empty string, you get a 0. Remember, empty strings are falsy values, so when they get coerced to a number, it gives you 0. Okay? So this is also one caveat of the isNaN method. Okay? All right, let's move on. The third exception, typeOf an array, gives you object. Now this isn't really a mistake because underneath the hood, all arrays are just special types of objects as we've learned before. But what if you really want to check to see if something is of type array? What you can do is that you can get the array constructor and then use the isArray method on it. The isArray method checks whatever's inside the argument to see if that's a real array or not. If we put an array, we get true. If we put anything else, we are going to get false. Okay, sounds good. Let's move on to the next topic.